Happy Monday. Thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Watch. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi with a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast, which is going to feature a bit more snow. And by the way, happy first full day of spring. It does not look spring-like, but folks, it's Colorado. And Colorado is Coloradoing pretty intensely here today. Now, in Denver, that snow has generally been on the lighter side with that snow, generally speaking, confined to kind of grassy surfaces, things like that. So we're mostly seeing that snow again, generally speaking, on some of those colder surfaces. So maybe you'll get a little bit of slush on your car top, maybe an inch or two out on the grass. In fact, I'm looking outside here, outside our unused studios. I don't know if you're seeing this where you are, but a lot of that snow has already melted. The snow that fell about an hour or two ago has already melted on off here in the Denver area. So that is the overall headlines here. In fact, let's go back to this for a quick second. That light snow will continue for the next couple of hours, but I think the accumulation's done, at least in Denver. The foothills divide could see a bit more snow, and then more flurries possible tomorrow afternoon, even weaker system than today's, and then we get some sun and warmth returning for your Wednesdays. So statewide view, you see the heaviest of the snow confined to far eastern Colorado and the southeastern corner of the state. So really Highway 50 on south and from about Lyman on east. By the way, I saw a comment from somebody in Flagler, Colorado. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name there, but that is where you're getting some really heavy snow. For friends joining us on Facebook, feel free to type in any comments or questions below and I'll try to answer those in real time. But again, Flagler on east, that's where you're seeing some of that really heavy snowfall right now. I-70 closed from Lyman to the Kansas state line as a result of this. Here in Denver, totally different story. It's barely snowing out there. It's what I would call meteorological dandruff, where you're just getting a little bit in the way of some of those flakes out there, and any snow that's falling at this point is not sticking. It's above freezing. It's the Palmer Divide and the foothills where you could see a bit more in the way of accumulation. So careful if you're heading up that way, but roads mostly on the wet side, even in the foothills and the divide. Now, where we're seeing those road issues, again, it's two distinct spots. From Pueblo on south, Highway 50 on south, that's where we're seeing some of that snowfall, and that is certainly sticking to the roadways out here, and it's heavy at times, and then also further north into Burlington, as well as from about Lyman on east, seeing some bands of pretty heavy snowfall out this way. This is what's saving us from getting the snow to stick on roadways. Temperatures, generally speaking, above freezing. We're seeing most spots in the mid to upper 30s. So really, Greeley, the warm spot, 41 degrees. I know it's not hot or anything compared to this weekend or where we should be for this time of year, but it's warm enough that that snow is just not sticking to roads, and basically it's not sticking to anything. You couple that with the high March sun angle, and that snow is basically melting on contact. Winter weather advisories for the foothills and the Palmer Divide, as well as most of eastern Colorado. That does not include Denver, though. Winter storm warnings in the southern part of the state, the Wet Mountains, the northern and San Cristos. Under those winter storm warnings, that's where you could see 3 to 8 inches worth of snowfall. And notice those wind gusts in some cases could get up to 50 miles an hour. So it's going to be a wind-blown snow, and that could mean that visibility is very, very limited in a few spots. So hopefully it gives you a good idea about not only the snow, but also the wind as well. Meantime, that futurecast snow, it'll slowly kind of pull its way off to the east, and as that snow does pull its way off to the south and the east, it'll still be snowing in places like Lyman, on east to the Kansas state line, so the eastern plains will keep their snow. Same for places like Springfield, Lamar, La Junta, Trinidad, Walsenburg. Your snow will continue, but by tonight, really by about 8, 9 o'clock, the snow is pretty much done. This spins its way off to the east and will leave behind a little bit of cloud cover for us in the Denver area. And then we get that secondary system that kicks in tomorrow night with just a few flurries. No big deal, maybe a few flakes. That'll be it for us here in the eastern part of the state, as we're going to be looking at, again, generally cloudy skies for tomorrow night, but not a whole lot in the way of snow accumulation. So let's get you in a bit more detail on this, right? So this afternoon, that snow comes to a close from north to south as we get dry air rushing in from the north. Denver area, our snow is pretty much already done, but any last flakes probably come to a close around 4 or 5 o'clock. Then by 7 o'clock, we're maybe even seeing a few bits of blue sky, or again, maybe some clear skies for the nighttime hours. And then tomorrow afternoon, those clouds redevelop. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll see a few spotty flurries, maybe even a little bit of rain mix in there as well, depending on our exact temperature. But I'm not anticipating any accumulation from the snow that does fall. The mountains, Winter Park, Highway 40 up there may see an inch or two of accumulation. That'll pretty much do it. Forecast lows tonight, 20s for the eastern plains, single digits and teens on up in the mountains. And tomorrow, those late flakes, no big deal. Want to reemphasize that yes, we do have the chance for a few flakes. I'm not expecting any accumulation here in Denver from that tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. Highs tomorrow, low to mid 40s. Our average high for today and this time of year is in the upper 50s. We're normally about 58, 59, so we're running way below average with these temperatures for one more day, and then we'll get back up into the 50s. Everybody keeping an eye on those 60s for Thursday and Friday. Look at that for next Sunday. Yes, I would have meant, well, weather's subjective, right? So maybe I shouldn't be celebrating because some of you might be wanting the snow, but I would imagine most of us, right, we're ready for those 70s. Yeah, I certainly am. We're back in the mid 70s by next Sunday, and it'll stay mild into the early part of next week. So hopefully it gives you a pretty good idea about what to expect over the next few days. Checking those live comments as they roll on in here on Facebook. Doesn't look like I got any distinct questions at this point. So again, a little bit of light snow today and tomorrow. Not expecting any more accumulation in the Denver area. It's really Lyman on east and Pueblo on south, where today we're going to be looking at some potentially significant issues as a result of the snow. Rest of the state, though, maybe a bit of snow tomorrow afternoon, and that is pretty much it as we head over the course of the next few days. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Watch. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is in at 9 News at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 this evening, and she'll have more details on all this active weather, at least for today and tomorrow, and the spring-like weather later on this week. Have a great rest of your day.